Throughout history, kings have searched for certainty. They have built monuments, raised armies, expanded empires, all in an effort to secure power that might last forever. But every king eventually faces the same truth. Human kingdoms do not last. They rise, they dominate, and eventually they fall. One night long ago, the most powerful ruler in the world experienced a dream that shook him to his core. A dream about the future of all empires. A dream about kingdoms rising and collapsing across centuries. And at the center of that dream was a mysterious stone. A stone not shaped by human hands. A stone that would shatter every kingdom of the earth and grow into a mountain that filled the entire world. This prophecy was revealed during the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, ruler of the mighty Babylonian Empire, and the one chosen to interpret this dream was a young captive prophet named Daniel. Tonight we enter one of the most extraordinary prophetic visions ever recorded, the vision of the stone cut without hands. King Nebuchadnezzar ruled from the city of Babylon, a city famous for its massive walls, its hanging gardens, its towering temples. Babylon was the center of power in the ancient world. Yet one night, despite all his wealth and authority, the king could not sleep, because a dream had disturbed him deeply. It was not an ordinary dream. It was vivid, powerful, and filled with strange symbols. But when the king awoke, he could not remember the details. Only the fear remained. The feeling that the dream carried a message he needed to understand. So Nebuchadnezzar summoned the wisest men in his kingdom, magicians, astrologers, advisors. He demanded that they reveal both the dream and its interpretation. But the wise men protested. No king has ever asked such a thing. How can we tell you the dream unless you first tell it to us? Their inability angered the king. He believed they were stalling, and in his frustration he issued a terrifying decree. All the wise men of Babylon would be executed. Among those considered wise men in Babylon was the young prophet Daniel. When he learned about the king's decree, he did not panic. Instead, he turned to prayer. Daniel gathered his companions and asked them to seek mercy from God. That night, while Daniel slept, the mystery was revealed. God showed him the king's dream and its meaning. Daniel immediately praised God, declaring, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings." Because Daniel understood something profound. Earthly rulers believe they control history, but ultimately, God does. The next day Daniel was brought before the king. Nebuchadnezzar looked at him with curiosity. "Can you tell me what I dreamed?" Daniel answered humbly, "No wise man can reveal this mystery, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets." And then Daniel described the dream. "You saw a great statue, O king. It was enormous, brilliant in appearance, and terrifying to behold. The statue had several distinct parts. The head was made of pure gold. The chest and arms were made of silver. The belly and thighs were made of bronze. The legs were made of iron, and the feet were made of a mixture of iron and clay. A magnificent yet fragile structure, a symbol of something powerful, yet unstable." Daniel explained that the statue represented a succession of kingdoms, empires that would dominate the world across centuries. The golden head represented Babylon itself, the empire of Nebuchadnezzar. a kingdom of incredible wealth and influence. But Daniel told the king something surprising. After you, another kingdom will arise, a kingdom inferior to Babylon, represented by the silver chest and arms, then a third kingdom of bronze, then a fourth kingdom strong as iron. Each empire would replace the one before it. History would move forward through a chain of world powers, just as the metals descended in value from gold to iron. Yet each kingdom would carry the seeds of its own downfall. Because human power always fades, the statue's feet were made of iron mixed with clay, a strange combination. Iron is strong, clay is fragile. Together they create something unstable. Daniel explained that this final stage represented a divided kingdom, part strong, part weak, unable to fully unite. It would struggle to maintain stability, and while the statue looked impressive from a distance, its foundation was fragile. The entire structure was vulnerable, waiting for a single moment that would change everything. As the king watched the statue in his dream, something unexpected happened. A stone appeared. But this was no ordinary stone. It was cut without human hands. In other words, it was not shaped by human effort, not created by human power. This stone came from somewhere beyond the kingdoms of men, and suddenly the stone struck the statue, not the head, not the chest, but the feet, the fragile foundation. The impact shattered the entire statue. The iron broke, the clay crumbled, the bronze shattered, the silver collapsed, the gold fell. All the kingdoms of the statue were reduced to dust, blown away like chaff in the wind, and the stone that struck the statue began to grow. Daniel described the final scene of the dream. The stone grew larger and larger until it became a great mountain, filling the entire earth. Unlike the statue, this kingdom would not collapse. Unlike the empires of men, it would never be replaced. Daniel explained, "The God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it will itself endure forever." The stone represented the kingdom of God, a kingdom not built by human power, not sustained by armies, but established by divine authority. When Nebuchadnezzar heard the interpretation, he was astonished. The dream had been revealed exactly, the meaning explained clearly. The king fell before Daniel and honored him, declaring, "Surely your God is the God of gods, the Lord of kings, the revealer of mysteries," because the dream revealed something the king had never considered. Even the greatest empire in the world was temporary. Only God's kingdom would last forever. Later generations saw a deeper meaning. The stone, cut without human hands, pointed toward the coming Messiah, the kingdom of God entering history, quietly at first, like a small stone, but destined to grow until it transforms the entire world. Centuries later, a teacher from Nazareth proclaimed, "The kingdom of God is at hand." That teacher was Jesus Christ. Many believed his message marked the beginning of that kingdom foretold in Daniel's vision. The statue in Nebuchadnezzar's dream reminds us of something profound. Human civilizations often appear powerful and permanent, but every empire eventually fades. History proves this again and again. Babylon fell, Persia fell, Greece fell, Rome declined. Yet the kingdom of God continues advancing, not through force, but through truth, grace, and transformation. The prophecy of the stone reminds us that history is moving toward a destination, a moment when the kingdom of God fills the earth, a kingdom of justice, peace, and restoration, a kingdom that will never fall. If this prophecy strengthened your faith, write in the comments, God's kingdom will stand forever, because every empire of this world will eventually fade. But the kingdom revealed to Daniel will never end